Hello and welcome to Melissa Maths. This is my quick quiz on rearranging formula. There are 40 questions and you just need a pen and a piece of paper to write down your answers. So let's get started. Question 1. Question 2. Question 3. Question 4. Question 5. Question 6. Question 7. Question 8. Question 9. Question 10. Question 11. Question 12. Question 13. Question 14. Question 15. Question 16. Question 17. Question 18. Question 19. Question 20. Question 21. Question 22. Question 23. Question 24. Question 25. Question 26. Question 27. Question 28. Question 29. Question 30. Question 31. Question 32. Question 33. Question 34. Question 35. Question 36. Question 37. Question 38. Question 39. Question 40. That's the end of the questions. Let's move on to the answers. Question 1. X is multiplied by 2, so we need to divide both sides by 2, getting x equals 9/2. Question 2. X is divided by 3, so we need to multiply both sides by 3, getting x equals 27. Question 3. 5 is added to x, so we need to subtract 5 from both sides, getting x equals m minus 5. Question 4. 2 is subtracted from x, so we need to add 2 to both sides, getting x equals 12. Question 5. N is subtracted from x, so we need to add n to both sides, getting x equals 10 plus n. Question 6. Y squared and z are both added to x, so we need to subtract them from both sides of the equation, getting x equals 1 minus y squared minus z. Question 7. To get x on its own, we can multiply both sides of the equation by -3, getting x equals -9. Question 8. To make x the subject, we can divide both sides by -3, getting x equals -7/3. Question 9. X is multiplied by m, so we can divide both sides by m, getting x equals n-1/m. Question 10. As x is divided by m, we can multiply both sides by m, getting x equals mn². Question 11. As x is multiplied by m and n, we can divide both sides by mn, getting x equals jkl divided by mn. Question 12. When we have a negative x, I like to add it to both sides so that we have the x positive on one side of the equals sign. Then we can subtract 9 from both sides, getting x equals 2. Question 13. Here, x is negative, so I've added it to both sides, and then I've added n to both sides, getting x equals n minus m. Question 14. You could do this question in one step by multiplying by n/m, but I've first multiplied by n, and then I've divided by m, getting x equals jn/m. Question 15. X is in the denominator, so I first multiplied by x and then divided by 5, getting x equals 3/5. Question 16. I've multiplied by x to get it into the numerator and then divided by p, getting x equals n/mp. Question 17. To get the x term on its own, I first added 11 to both sides and then divided by 2, getting x equals 33/2. Question 18. To get the x term on its own, I first subtracted 11 from both sides and then divided by 2, getting x equals 5. Question 19. To get the x term on its own, I first subtracted 3m from both sides and then divided by y, getting x equals 3n minus 3m all over y. Question 20. As there are x terms on both sides of the equals sign, I first subtracted 3x. I then added 9 to get the x term on its own and then divided by 2, getting x equals 11/2. Question 21. To get the x term on its own, I first subtracted 7m from both sides. I then divided by 3, getting x equals n/6 minus 7m/3. Question 22. I first multiplied out the brackets and then added 6 to both sides to get the x term on its own. I then divided by 3, getting x equals 4. Question 23. I first multiplied both sides by n, I then added 1 to both sides to get the x term on its own, and then divided by m, getting x equals 3n plus 1 all over m. Question 24. I first multiplied out the brackets, and then I subtracted jn and m to get the x term on its own. I then divided by n, getting x equals k minus jn minus m all over n. Question 25. I first expanded the brackets and then collected the like terms. I then added 2m to both sides to get the x term on its own and then divided by 3 to get x equals n plus 1 plus 2m all over 3. Question 26. I started by multiplying both sides by p. I then subtracted mx and pr so that the x terms were both on the same side. I then factorised out the x so that I could divide both sides by qp minus m, getting x equals n minus pr over qp minus m. Question 27. To get the x out of the denominator, I multiplied both sides by x. I then divided by p, getting x equals m plus n all over p. Question 28. I multiplied both sides by x to get it out of the denominator. I then added px to both sides so that the x terms were on the same side of the equal sign. I then factorised out so that I could divide both sides by m plus p, getting x equals n over m plus p. Question 29. I started by multiplying both sides by x plus n to get x out of the denominator. I then multiplied out the brackets and subtracted pn and qx so that I get the x terms on the same side of the equals sign. I then factorised so that I could divide both sides by p minus q, getting x equals m plus n q minus p, all divided by p minus q. Question 30. I started by multiplying both sides by m minus 1. I then subtracted m from both sides to get the x term on its own. I then divided by minus 2, getting x equals minus m minus 2 over 2. Question 31. In order to get the x term on its own, I square rooted both sides and then subtracted 1 from both sides, getting x equals minus 1 plus or minus the square root of m. Question 32. I started by multiplying both sides by 4 to get the x term on its own. I then square rooted both sides and simplified, getting x equals plus or minus 2 square root of m. Question 33. I started by multiplying both sides by 5. I then added x and subtracted 5c so that the x terms were on the same side. I then factorised so that I could divide both sides by 5m plus 1, getting x equals 1 minus 5c over 5m plus 1. Question 34. I started by dividing both sides by 7 and then square rooted both sides. After simplifying, I got x equals plus or minus the square root of 2 over the square root of 7. Question 35. After squaring both sides, we get x equals m squared. Question 36. I started by squaring both sides. I then multiplied by x squared plus 1 to get x out of the denominator. I then multiplied out the brackets and subtracted m squared x squared and added 1 to both sides. I then factorised, getting x squared on its own. I then divided by 2 minus m squared and then square rooted the answer, getting x equals plus or minus the square root of m squared plus 1 all over 2 minus m squared. Question 37. I started by squaring both sides of the equals sign and then multiplied by 2x to get it out of the denominator. I then subtracted x from both sides to get the x terms on the same side of the equals sign. I then factorised so that I could divide by 2m squared minus 1, getting x equals 1 over 2m squared minus 1. Question 38. I've started by multiplying both sides of the equals sign by 1 over x plus 1. I then expanded the brackets and multiplied by x. I then added x and subtracted m from both sides. I then factorised to get the x on its own and divided by m plus 1, getting x equals 1 minus m over m plus 1. Question 39. I started by multiplying both sides by mn. I then factorised so that I could divide both sides by m minus n. I then squared both sides, getting x equals pmn over m minus n all squared. Question 40. I started by factorising the left-hand side. This left me with x plus 1 squared, so I square rooted both sides and then subtracted 1, getting x equals plus or minus the square root of m minus 1. Well, that's the end of my quick quiz on rearranging formula. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you come again soon, and please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Bye!